All right, we're back for the NFC East. James, your very own division. Uh, I already know who you're going to pick to win the division, but let's go ahead and start it with number four. Who's your last place team in the division? I think I could tell yours 4-1, but this is going to be one of the tougher divisions in football this year.
To be honest, I really don't know what I'm doing with my 2 and 3. I think the 1 and 4 are pretty obvious. Even though I do think if Geis stayed healthy, like the Redskins might have been, they have a really good roster. People underrate them, and I think Alex Smith is like, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's very similar to Kirk Cousins actually in a lot of ways. But yeah, when Geis went down, they kind of got screwed. Hopefully their O-line can stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they're going to win a lot of games though, because Alex Smith is not going to. They're going to be in a lot of football games. You know what I mean? So
that's an underrated offensive line. If healthy, they can create holes, protect Alex Smith.
It's like top 5, dude.
Yeah.
Healthiest top 5. They have Trent Williams at left tackle, Moses, whatever his name is, at right tackle, and then they have like 2 first-rounders in the interior offensive line. It's the NFC East has 3 like top 7 offensive lines, arguably top 5.
I'd agree with that. I have the exact same thing, though, with the Washington Redskins. Like you said, their roster's really not that bad. They got a good offensive line. They have a good run game. If Darius Geis had stayed healthy, even then, they still have a decent one.
Thompson's good, though.
Yeah. Defensively, their front 7 is pretty – it's not good. It's not great. Secondary's not bad. Josh Norman, they added Orlando Scandrick. They got some playmakers in the secondary, and Ryan Kerrigan, pass rusher, very good player. But front 7 isn't that good. They did draft Jonathan Allen last year, Daron Payne this year. I think it's better. But again, this is another team. It's going to depend on Alex Smith. He won games in Kansas City. Can he come over to Washington and win games with that offense? Because I'm not crazy about their playmakers. I don't like their receivers like he had in Kansas City.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think the Redskins are an underrated team, though. Yeah. I really do.
I mean, he's captain checked down anyway, so I guess it don't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So, who's your number 3?
The New York Giants. Let me find them real quick. All right, so first-year head coach Pat Shermer. I like the hire. I think they're
average hire.
What's that?
Best. Average hire at best.
I liked them, but we'll get into that later. This is number 1 with them. So they draft Saquon Barkley. They get Nate Solder in free agency. They draft, what's his name? Will Hernandez out of UTEP in the 2nd round. Everyone is acting like their problems are solved offensively.
Nah, I agree.
And I'm like, this is still not a great offense. No. Saquon Barkley is an unproven rookie. Their offensive line from the center to the right side is still bad. They have a good left side.
They remind me of the Cowboys. They have a very top-heavy roster, but it's not an even roster. Right. I actually think the Redskins have the 2nd most even roster in the entire division. I think the Cowboys and the Giants have very good players, but they just don't mesh together to make a great team. They don't have a great offensive line, which I think is the most. It's the 2nd most important thing on a football team. And
now, I will say this offensive line. It was the worst last year, I think. This year, it'll be a little bit better. It's still going to be bad.
They have the 4th best offensive line and the 4th best quarterback in the division. Period.
I don't think that's a ridiculous accusation, and that was my other point, is Eli Manning. I think the ship has sailed with Eli Manning. He's just done. He's not that good anymore. He's okay. He's not that good.
He's and it's not even necessarily from a talent perspective. No. He just still makes really bad decisions after being in the league for 15 years. It's just Eli, why did you throw that with 1 minute left in the 4th quarter, dude? Why did you do that? You're 36 years old. But yeah, dude, I really like certain players on the team. Obviously Odell Beckham is an absolute beast. I think Evan Ingram is a really good, mismatch for linebackers and things like that.
Well, even defensively, this was a unit that was very good 2 years ago. I don't think it's really that good. They have a good secondary.
They have 3 good players. You ready? Janoris Jenkins, Landon Collins, and Snacks.
Yep.
Harris. And that is literally it. I'm telling you right now. They don't have it. Olivier Vernon is so overrated.
Yeah.
He's a poor man's Brandon Graham.
Has he even had 10 sacks? That's one dude that has been hyped up for years.
He's a poor man's Brandon Graham, and Brandon Graham is like a poor man's version of a lot of freaking players. Brandon Graham is like a poor man's version of Khalil Mack. Yeah. So it's like you're a poor man's version of a poor man's version, man. You're overrated as hell.
I do like Alec Ogletree more than most.
Pierre-Paul was a better pass rusher than him, and he's gone.
Absolutely. I do.
They grabbed Ogletree, who is a B linebacker at best.
Yeah.
B, which is – he's average. He's an average linebacker, which is okay for them. They actually needed an average linebacker in that terrible linebacking unit. But like you said, they're acting like their problems are solved. They're not. You're very average at a lot of key spots, period.
Yeah. So number 2, I think we're going to have the exact same thing here. Number 2, who you got?
The Cowboys, they just scare me because I know that there is a chance that some people are really low on Connor Williams, but then again, some people are really high on him, and I think he is big enough to be fine as a guard. And if he booms there, and from right guard all the way over their the best at their position, I don't know, man. They scare me, but I honestly think Philly is their kryptonite. We can score a lot of points, and we stop the run really well, and that just doesn't the Cowboys are pretty easy to beat if you just get out in front of them. Dak is 9 times out of 10 not going to complete a deep comeback. You know what I mean? If they're down 14, they're going to have a really tough time coming back.
Yep.
They don't have any. The fact that did you see Dak Prescott said that Cole Beasley is his favorite receiver?
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a known. He goes to him a lot.
They might come in last place. That's horrible. That might be the worst. That's fucking terrible, dude. Cole Beasley.
I'm not trying to say Cole Beasley's good, but he's not an awful option to have. But he's not the number one option you want.
He is a average slot at best.
Yeah.
Terrence Williams is a below average 2. Allen Robinson is a below average 1, and their tight ends are
Allen Hurns.
Who did I say?
Allen Robinson, I think.
That's even worse. He's even more below average number 1 receiver. And their tight ends are actually embarrassing. And I find it funny that, the Cowboys are happy that Dez Bryant left and everything like that. That's fine because he is kind of a locker room cancer.
I will say this. That's addition by subtraction.
I disagree, man. It's still Dez Bryant out on the field. The defense can play differently now. I don't care if Dez Bryant is actually making it happen on the field. They're still defending it, and that's why he's not making a lot of plays. It's going to change. They still
won 9 games last year, and he wasn't even that good.
Man, I'm telling you, Dez Bryant still scares people, especially when you get into the red zone, especially when you have Zeke Elliott. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dak Prescott is going to be scared when Jason Witten isn't open every freaking third down.
I will give you that.
Every third down, they try to act like because Jason Witten was old and he didn't have great stats. Yeah, because he's not really, you know what I mean? I'm going to have a 100 yards receiving guy now. He's like a 5 reception for 50 yard. I got 4 first downs guy, which is exactly what Dak Prescott needed, and they lost that. And I think it's funny that they think that's underrated. They do have a pretty good front 7. I'm not going to lie.
I think this is actually a very underrated front 7.
When healthy, it's actually very, very good. But I don't like their secondary at all. Besides Byron Jones, I'm not a fan of anyone in the entire secondary.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you just about the entire way. And I have the exact same thing. I have the Cowboys at number 2 in this division. Obviously, with Dak, you're going to win. You're going to have the opportunity to win games. With that offensive line and Zeke Elliott, you're going to have a stable run game for majority of the season. Even with Rod Smith and Bo Scarborough, and I don't even like Bo Scarborough that much, you're going to have a good run game. Like you said, though, their weapons offensively aren't any good. Cole Beasley's he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, he's a fine slot. That's it, though. If that's your favorite receiver, that's not good, dude. I'm just saying that's not good.
And to your point, if your best player is your running back offensively, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're just not going to be able to keep up with a lot of these teams. When you have a bad secondary and a good running back, that's like a bad combo to have, man.
I am curious to see how Allen Hurns does outside of Jacksonville, with a better quarterback throwing on the ball. Just curious. I don't think he's going to be anything special, but
he's okay.
Yeah,
he's fine too. He's fine.
He's fine. Yeah,
I take him on the Eagles.
They did add our boy Tavon Austin.
Yeah, he did. I wish him well, but I actually hope he like never plays again.
Yeah. Good luck to Tavon Austin, but we're not huge fans of the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, front seven wise, very underrated. DeMarcus Lawrence had what? Didn't he lead the league in sacks last year?
He was second.
Second, okay.
Chandler Jones did.
That's right. And then David Irving in the interior, pretty good player, but I think he's out the first month.
He's actually really good, dude. Yeah. Like, he makes a lot of plays. He really does. Mm-hmm. Randy Gregory's back.
Yeah. They even have Coney Ely, who has been on some been on some rosters at least. I wouldn't say he's good. He's not bad.
He's okay.
Yeah. And then their linebackers, Jalen Smith, Sean Lee, when healthy. I mean, he's the leader of their defense. They added Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State. Very, very, very underrated front seven, I think. We've always trashed Dallas for, not having a good defensive front, but now it's like, this is actually, could be a pretty good unit.
They paid attention to it, and they've drafted decently, so.
But yeah, their weakness is obviously their secondary.
Good Charlton, too. I forgot. He's a first-round pick.
Yeah, I forgot about him, too. Their weakness, though, is absolutely their secondary. Their best player is Byron Jones, who, good player, but he can easily be beat. He's kind of like a Malcolm Butler. He's going to make some plays for you, but he's also going to get burnt at the same time. Jeff Heath, I mean, come on, a white DB, give me a break. Unless you're Harrison Smith. Xavier Woods at strong safety, I've never heard of him. I do like their draft picks from last year. Who knows what will happen, and with another year in the system, Jordan Lewis, Chidobe Awuzie. But this team is not going to, I should say they're not gonna. I don't think compete in the NFC like Super Bowl wise, just because I don't think they have enough the right pieces to outscore a Carson Wentz, Aaron Rodgers, whoever else.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So we both have the same thing. Then number one, your Philadelphia Eagles. I will let you take it.
Dude, I'm getting scared, to be honest with you. Apparently, Alshon Jeffrey might start on the pup and miss 6 games. Dude, we have...
No. I shake my head because you do this all the time with your Eagles.
Dude, listen. We have Carson Wentz, Jason Peters, Darren Sproles, Jordan Hicks, Sidney Jones, Brandon Graham. Did I already say Jordan Hicks?
Yeah, I feel like you did, maybe.
Alshon Jeffrey, dude, we have a lot of key players coming off injuries, dude, and it's unrealistic to think all 6 of them are going to be 1,000% fine and just play great this season. And, dude, I'm not going to lie and act like we don't obviously have the best division or the best roster in the division. I don't even think it's close, to be honest. I think we have a very well-rounded team, which is why we're good. But, dude, I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team necessarily. It's going to be hard to repeat that magic of last year. But we'll see, dude, because I'm telling you what, I have all the confidence in the world in Carson Wentz, dude. He is I feel like it's just burning in the pit of his stomach that he didn't win the Super Bowl last year, and I love that. I think that's perfect for us to have a good season, to be honest.
Well, I hear you now. That I heard your opinion, and I do think it's a valid one. But you are like this all the time with your Eagles. I remember you texted me last week when the Arizona Cardinals came to Philly. You were like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about it. Fletcher Cox is hurt. I'm like, you got Carson Wentz out there. It doesn't matter. And they won by about ended up winning by about 30. You were at the game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was.
But no, I think that's a reasonable concern. Starting off hurt, but I think you'd rather start off hurt and finish healthy.
Exactly, but I do think by weeks. I think by that Vikings game, week 5. Listen, I was talking about this with Artis earlier. I don't have confidence in the Eagles winning a lot of games. You know me, dude. I'm always skeptical, and I know how good the Minnesota Vikings are. The Eagles are gonna kick the Vikings fucking ass week 5, guaranteed. I will put $100 on it right now. They are going to kick their fucking ass.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule. I think they could easily be maybe 2-2 going into that Vikings game.
And I think that's extreme. I think that's realistic if Nick Foles is the quarterback, because we're going to beat the Bucs because Jameis Winston isn't even playing.
I'm giving you even the win against the Falcons. The Colts at home, I don't know. That might be a trap game. And then at Tennessee, that's a tough road game. I could see 2-2. I could also see 3-1.
The defense is going to be better this year, though, dude.
Yeah,
that defense is going to be mean this year.
That's another thing is I don't usually like teams, that win the Super Bowl, win a championship the next year. But this team got better. They added Haloti Ngata, Paul Warlow, Michael Bennett, even Mike Wallace, who's, okay.
He's better than Torrey Smith.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And then Dallas Goedert at tight end. I really like him. I was watching their preseason game yesterday. He tore it up. Dude,
him with Zach Ertz, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not even like he's like the fifth or sixth option on the offense.
Yeah. And then you got Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, Darren Sproles at running back, Donnell Pumphrey even, and Wendell Smallwood, even though he just fumbled the other night. I'm not sure he'll make the roster.
He's a bum.
Yeah. Well, he was a fifth-round pick. Not many fifth-round picks pan out anyway.
He was fourth.
Yeah, pretty good offensive line. Obviously, a great front seven. I shouldn't say front seven. Great defensive front. Their linebackers are okay. I think you've mentioned that's their weakness defensively.
Not when healthy, though, because
that's
when
fair.
we play – because, first of all, you never play in base defense anymore because there's always three receivers on the field, at least 75% of the time. So you're always playing with three corners. So when we have Jordan Hicks and Nigel Bradham on the field, I think our linebackers are fine. When we have to put our third linebacker out there and it's Nate Gary, who was a safety in college, when we're playing base defense, our linebackers are kind of weak. But when we're playing dime and or would it be nickel? And when we're playing nickel and there's the corner in there, the third corner in there, we're going to be stacked because we have Darby, Mills, and now Sidney Jones is going to be our starting slot corner, and apparently he is just like lighting it up at camp. I mean, he's just all over the place. So that's the defense. I think might have to carry the team in the beginning of the season. I do think teams like that. I see the Titans on there. Like the Titans are a really good team, but I see the Titans having a hard time scoring on the Eagles. To be honest with you, their offense isn't made to score well on the Eagles. The Bucs aren't going to score a lot of points on the Eagles.
And Jameis Winston will be out.
Exactly, and I am afraid of the Falcons. I actually think if Carson Wentz doesn't, because dude, Nigel Bradham's out that game. Dude, that game might be a shit show. I'm telling you, winning at the Link is almost impossible. Though, like Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's like 14-2 at home since he's been hired.
It's pretty good.
Carson Wentz has only lost. Or he's 13-2 if you don't count the Cowboys game at the end of last year when we still had all the starters. Like, yeah, dude, it's hard to win there. That's why we kicked the Vikings' ass in the Super Bowl.
Right. But yeah, so this team, defending champs, how great is that to say, James? The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles?
Unreal. It's amazing.
They ought to be just as good this year as they were last year. I do think they take a slight step back. First place schedule now, like you said, they're starting off banged up. I'm record wise, I think you're looking at about 11-5.
I have the exact same, and I think honestly, realistically, 10-6 is realistic because I do, like I said, dude, I think they get off to a bumpy start, but I do think they start like really, really humming towards the middle of the season, especially after the bye. I think we get a bye at like the perfect time. It's like week 9 or 10, which is beautiful.
You go to London to face Jacksonville. I think that's a loss. Just Jacksonville, they're used to that trip.
I chalked it up as an L on the schedule too. Even though I easily think, like I know it's really hard for other teams to play in London, but you know how Jacksonville is. Like they can beat you by 30 or lose by 30.
They go there every year. They're used to that trip. Then they get a bye. Then they get to face Dallas. So get 14 days to prepare for Dallas. Second team, likely second best team in the division. Yeah, they get them at home. But yeah, some tough road games. We're at Tennessee,
Rams.
at the Giants. Yeah,
Saints.
At the Saints. Yeah,
Saints is an L.
The Rams, the Cowboys, even Washington. Washington seems to always have their number sometimes.
Yep. No, always they do.
But yeah,
Kirk Cousins is gone though.
We'll see. Absolutely. So second place team, we both had the Cowboys. What was their record for you?
10-6. I have them at 10-6. I really have them challenging the Eagles like all the way up to the end of the season. they're just a team, like, as much as I dislike Dak Prescott and I don't think he's an amazing quarterback, I do think he's very Alex Smith-esque in the way, like, he's not going to lose you a football game most of the time. I think he lost a couple football games last year, but that happens to absolutely anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. He's going to win a lot of games because he's just going to hand it off to Zeke Elliott, or he's going to take that 6-yard slant, and it's going to be 2nd and 4, and Zeke Elliott's going to, you know what I mean? It's just, they're just going to do that all the way down the field, and that's why I don't like you compare Carson Wentz's stats and Dak Prescott's stats, because, yeah, their stats are pretty damn similar, because Dak Prescott isn't asked to do 1/4 of what Carson Wentz is asked to do. So his stats are going to be pretty padded again. He's probably going to have, 20-plus touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions. He's going to have a decent season on the QBR measurement scale, and they're going to have a methodical. I do think they're going to have a playoff team, and they might have to come to Philly and play us in the playoffs, and that's scary. I don't like playing Dallas in situations like that.
I do think they are a playoff team as well. I have them though at 9-7, and I think that feels impossible to say.
That's not going to be good enough in the NFC.
I don't know. I think the NFC might just beat up on each other. Maybe. I could see 10-6. I'll probably change it to 10-6, but I think the NFC is just so deep this year. We might have a 9-7 team in. But
dude, the Cowboys could also be a team that could just implode and literally win like 4 games. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say 4 games. If Connor Williams ends up being a really soft player and Zeke Elliott can't average 4.5 yards a carry like he did his rookie season, if Zeke Elliott doesn't eat or if he gets hurt, that offense is going to be done. Absolutely done. And that's not good. If any, you know what I mean? Like, see, that's why I really like the Eagles roster, because the Giants are.
Lost him.
You can stop. Sorry, my mom called me. You can stop Saquon Barkley if he's the only weapon on an offense. I feel the same way about Zeke, but yeah, I have the Giants at 7-9, and I just don't feel good about that. They could easily win way more games or win a couple less. I really don't know. I think Vegas has set their win total, because my friend William, who's been on the show, has asked me before what I think about their Vegas win total. And I tell him all the time, take the under with the Giants. It's not that I don't think that they can't win more games. It's just they're likely not going to. Like you said, it's a very top-heavy roster. They got a mediocre quarterback right now, even though I love Eli Manning. Their offensive line's still not very good. They got some overrated weapons, I think. No, I shouldn't say overrated weapons offensively, but just an overrated offense in general, and I don't think their defense is that good outside of the secondary. Having really good receivers isn't that big of a deal, because you can scheme receivers open these days. So, like, you do need to have good players at wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you can have bums, but like you can survive with a player not like Odell Beckham on the perimeter. Yeah. You don't necessarily need that. That's why I'm not paying him $19-20 million a year. I give him like 17.5 because he is the best receiver in the league to me. He's number one. I do think he's better than Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. I'd let any receiver walk before I pay them more than $12 million. That's just the way I am. You make a great GM. What's that? I said that's why you make a great GM. I don't know. I don't know. But I got the Giants actually at 8-8. I was actually kind of surprised. A lot of Giants fans are expecting 8-8, but it feels like everyone else is trying to hype up the Giants as a playoff team. But the Giants fans are over there shaking their heads like, "Nah, man, we're gonna be 8-8." It's hard to go from 3 wins to 13 wins. I mean, I don't give a damn. We lost a couple players. I don't give a shit. You don't win 10 more games because of 3 players on your team. You don't have that great of a team, dude. It means you have a couple good players. That's all that means. Yeah, I agree. But so we're kind of pressed for time. I know you said your phone overheats if we do this for more than an hour, so we got to wrap this up. Lastly, the Washington Redskins. Honestly, I don't know what to expect with the Redskins. I have them going about 5-11, and I think that's being pretty generous. I don't know what to think of Jay Gruden anymore. I'm not a big fan of him. I wasn't a huge fan of him at Cincinnati. I do think Doug Peterson, after that playoff run, in my opinion, and it's definitely arguable, but I do think he's the best coach in that division now. Yeah. And I do inarguably think we have the best quarterback by a goddamn mile. I don't think it's close. Because I watch every Eagles game. Like, every single one. I watch every snap of ours. Like, people, that's what I'm saying. When people try to argue, like, that's like me arguing about Dak. Like, I don't watch every snap Dak plays. Like, you can argue a lot more things. But Carson Wentz is a beast. When Aaron Rodgers is going and Carson Wentz is like 30, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But
5 years from now, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league.
In 5 years, Aaron Rodgers will still be about 40.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz is going to be better than him.
Possibly. Who knows? But
40 years old.
What do you have the Redskins going?
I have them going 7-9 too. I don't think they're going to be that bad. I honestly think they would have won 1 or 2 more games with Geis. I do think that dude would have been a beast. Perfect switch up with Chris Thompson. Yeah. But the Redskins are perpetual. They're one of those teams that just goes in the cycle of going like 5-11 to 8-8 every fucking year, and they just can't build a good team because they're not good and they're not bad, and it's just annoying. They're like the Dolphins. Yeah. They just have bad ownership. You have bad ownership, dude. The same teams consistently do well. Not all of them, but the same teams consistently do well. You know what I mean? Like, over the past 2 decades, who have been the teams that have been pretty damn good? Like, you can call them out.
New England,
Giants,
Green Bay,
Giants.
Yeah, I'll give you the Giants. They've had their fair share of losing seasons as well.
But I'm saying, like, that doesn't. But they actually go back to the peak. There's nothing wrong with hitting a valley. You have to with the salary cap and all that shit. In football, more than any other sport, like, you're going to do a nosedive. The only thing that can keep you above an absolute nosedive is a good quarterback. They can keep you, they can make a 9-7 team out of nothing. Like, that's what I'm hoping Carson Wentz can be, because eventually we're going to have to pay him, dude, and our team isn't going to be as good. It's as simple as that. That's how it goes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So that is our NFC East preview. I know you've been bugging me about doing this one. We finally are able to do it. I kind of sprang it up on you. I know you probably would have decked yourself out in Eagles gear had I given you more notice.
I'm wearing my Patagonia shirt instead, Shane.
Yes, because you are quite the outdoorsman.
Hell yeah.
All right, so that's our NFC East preview. I believe our last one is just the NFC South. That's going to be an interesting one. I think we're probably going to have the same, not the same, but roughly the same 4-1, though. Same standings.
I think it'll be the same.
Yeah, probably.
The only thing that could be different is our 1-2, but I think it'll be the same still.
Yeah, I agree. And then we're trying to get a regular show for you guys. I've been swamped with work, going back to school, and I know you're swamped even more probably. But yeah, we will try to get a regular show for you. It's probably just going to be all football. Nothing much else going on.
That doesn't even matter though, baby.
Nope, it doesn't. Well, 2 weeks left. Football.
Yep. All right, man.
I'll let you go.
Have a good one, brother.
Yep, later.